Hey, what's up everybody? I'm Sonic the Hedgehog here, and I'm back for once again via the Moxie Toys videos. And yes, welcome back to more Let's Play of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles in Knuckles' story for the Sega Mega Drive / Sega Genesis. So yes, last time we actually did manage to tackle through Marble Garden Zone and also Carnival Night Zone, aka the shortest zone for Knuckles' story, which is kind of funny actually, because unlike Sonic and Tails, that zone can take a little bit of a while to actually just to complete it for both Act 1 and Act 2, well specifically in Act 2 most likely. But even then, and afterwards that we actually did collected ourselves all 7 of these Chaos Emeralds as Knuckles the Echidna, so that means we're able to actually transform into Super Knuckles. So anyways, in this episode we're about to continue on and move on to the 5th zone in the entire game, which is the form of, yet again, Ice Cap Zone, but this time we're going to be playing this zone for Knuckles. But even then, what's weird about this is that after when we actually did manage to complete Carnival Night Zone, let's just say Act 2, but even then though, there's actually a teleportation device, which apparently this actually leads us to Ice Cap Zone for some reason. Gee, it might be a prequel to Sonic 06 White Acropolis Zone or something like that, with this little teleportation device in, somewhere in this hidden base from the white snowy location, which I don't know why I'd truly say that, but I digress. So yeah, how's it going folks? Well, I basically managed to realize that today was actually the 1st of May, so you know what that means folks, there's quite a few things we'd like to discuss about. Is that first things first, that I've recently managed to finish up playing through The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D. Oh man, what quite an experience on that game. I mean, sure, it's really different compared to, although he plays exactly like Zelda, yeah, but the actual emphasis on during exploration department looks very familiar and interesting at the same time, because, well, sure, it does have some bit of side quests, much like how it does in Ocarina of Time, but except the fact that you have to deal with the 3-day day limit system, which for the most part, I usually get used to it with this very well. But even I know, much like any other Zelda games before, on one hand, I've completed everything, like every single heart containers, every single masks have been obtained, and for the most part, all these side quests I've actually completely done with, including the likes of these little door keys into this little what do I recall? Stockpot Inn, which I believe that's what the location is actually at, which basically you have to beat Goron's mask in order to actually just to complete that side quest, which for the most part it works out there. But even then, oh yeah, you can't go up there because we had to find another way with Knuckles, and even then though, instead of going up, we can go down here. So yeah, sure, it does have some bit of frustrating moments I've actually encountered, such as like this little go-on minigame. They have to go for this little in the end game, although I'll talk more on that later. But anyways, here's another difference between Sonic and Tails, or in this case, Sonic alone, Tails alone, and Knuckles alone, is the fact that, you know the Ice Ball boss fight that we actually did fight against before with Sonic and Tails, from the likes of, you know, the during the outside area? Now we can actually fight against with him inside the caverns, only better yet, ice caverns. So, a little bit of a difference right there. So, anywho. Alright, now we move on into Ice Cap Act 2, so even then, that, you know, I mentioned this before about, you know, Sonic and Tails, or Sonic alone, or Tails alone, managed to explore the outside part of the Ice Cap Zone for the beginning part of the level. But now this time around though, since we still ended up upon the Ice Caverns, or something like that, so you know what this means folks, we can now actually encounter the water moments here, so even then though, that way just go ahead and just not fall into— no, I didn't meant to spin dash in the wrong way. Oh, that was kind of my fault. But hey, at least we can try that again. Even though, unfortunately though, I've lost my elemental shield or something like that, so even then though, I have to do this with the hard fashion way. So even then, it's not that much of an issue for me, so even then, yeah. So yeah, for the most part, I mentioned this before, that I've now recently managed to completely done with The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D on Nintendo 3DS, like I 100%ed it, and for the most part I had a pretty enjoyable time on that game, even though that I did have some fair share of frustration moments here and there, such as more likely how it does in the other games when I've usually played. But apart from that, I did that pretty well actually, so even though still I'm in progression on Skyward Sword in my own time, and even the hardest game in the series, Zelda 2 The Adventure of Link, But, however though, that I might actually go ahead and do The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD next on my own time. And even then though, that perhaps maybe someday, that I might actually try to get myself The Legend of Zelda Orc of Seasons and Orc of Ages, both on the Game Boy Color 3DS Virtual Console version. Now you guys are probably thinking that, I don't know what do I think about it, but even then though, that, the reason why I decided to get those two is because of, you know, it counts as more likely the main series of Zelda titles, I'm assuming. But even then, that I'm probably not going to be, know about how I managed to actually just trying to get that just yet. So, anywho though. So I guess there's not much else, you know, to say about this here, besides the fact that, obviously, that we pretty much, if I recall correctly, that we pretty much at the halfway point of Knuckles' story, basically, because obviously we had the Ice Cap Zone after all, so even then, though, once we finished all that, oh yeah, be careful of these robotic, capsules right there, because obviously you will lose rings instantly, so, especially noticeable if you have no rings, then you're obviously going to die by the robotic capsules, which is probably more likely at a bad situation in that regard. But anyway though. So anyway, and also another thing I want to mention is that recently I managed to watch myself not just My Little Pony Visitors Magic's new episodes on Season 7, which are both Episode 4 and 5. Now I say 5 because I'll talk more into that odd stuff until later. But for the time being, another thing I'd like to say about this here is that I've recently managed to catch up to watching Sonic Boom Season 2 again, yes. It has been quite a few days since I actually come back into Sonic Boom TV series recently because obviously me and the other guys were so busy doing other stuff recently, so even then though, I think it's about time for me and the others at this point in time. I'm actually trying to catch up to Sonic Boom TV series as far as this is concerned, so yeah, you get the suggestions. So anyways, here we go with this particular boss battle yet again, but except the fact that this boss fight is a little bit different now because it usually extends in this little platform from the very top to the very bottom, so even then though, it makes it a little bit tricky for you, but even then though, it's pretty easy though, or better yet, a complete joke if you actually be using Super Knuckles. But it can be really tough if you actually did not become a super form. But anyways, now we move on into Launch Base Zone Act 1, aka the last zone in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 standalone version. But even then though, Knuckles is actually going to be experiencing the Launch Base Zone for the very first time. And by the way, if you those who be very curious about this, is that I know a lot of people already know this, is that originally back in the Sonic and Tails playthrough of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, that you probably noticed in the launch base background, it's usually involves around the Death Egg background, which is kind of makes it more likely dealt for it. However though, in Knuckles' version of Launch Base Zone, specifically Act 1 and Act 2, well, usually technically Act 1, because even then, that there's no Death Egg on here, so even then, it's just basically you can see it's just little tons of building scraps and all that kinds of stuff. So that's really another noticeable difference between you know, Sonic and Tails or Sonic and Tails standalone versions of, you know, Sonic on its own, Tails on its own, and you know the suggestions. So yeah, kind of cool actually. So however though, there's nothing else remarkably different about it besides the background change for Act 1 for Knuckles, although besides the ending part was actually a little bit more different, and especially noticeable when we get into Act 2 most likely, because in Act 2 it's going to be quite significantly different between Sonic and Tails version, and especially noticeable until we get to the next zone afterwards, which should be Mushroom Hill Zone, which was the, you know, the first level in Sonic and Knuckles basically, so yeah, I can't wait to how these usually actually makes it more likely, you know, change for slightest. So anyway, let's see what's over here exactly. Well, of course, you got yourself some bunch of rings, and strangely enough though, with this little item capsule image of the bubble shield for Knuckles, strangely it's actually red colored formation rather than blue, although it makes it more perfect sense because even then though, that when you ever play as Sonic, that the bubble shield was actually blue, but if you play as Knuckles, if you're trying to actually get yourself a bubble shield, it goes red, so even then, that makes it more likely Delta 4 anyway, so yeah, that's all I can really think about this at this point, so. In fact, conveniently enough though, is that we would like to actually, just to point things out right now, is that we really want to get this playthrough done until, you know, the next month is going to be Sonic the Hedgehog 4 Let's Play, which I believe Piglet is going to be doing on that redo playthrough for the third time in a row. And even then, that, alongside with that, is that since, obviously, I mentioned this before, today was actually the 1st of May, so that means there's going to be a E3 2017 appearances until next month. So even then, though, I am really excited about this is going to happen. So even then, though, I can't wait until when some of these games are definitely going to be announcing this year, or even some of these new infos about some of the titles are coming for it. So that'll be pretty exciting and fantastic at the same time. So yeah, I'll just get out of here. I have no idea why. Probably I'm not going to waste my time on that bonus minigame and stuff like that. So yeah, there's not much to discuss. I think I'm actually keeping myself a bubble shield for the time being, in case if I actually accidentally get hit by certain hazards and all that stuff, then I probably should be able to activate Super Knuckles anytime. So, oh man, if only I can use my flame shield. I mean, from that way, I can able to be completely invulnerable to you know, the flamethrowers and all that stuff. I mean, wouldn't be nice. But anyway. So anyway, though, again, not much to... Oh, great. Okay, that's it. Let's just transform to Super Knuckles though, anyway. So, yeah, that's all I can really to say about this here for this point, ladies and gentlemen. Besides the fact that until, I believe we actually got ourselves 25 days to go until there's going to be yet another Nintendo Switch game, but it's usually the form of the third-party support game, which is called Ultra Street Fighter 2: The Final Challengers, which for what I've saw the footage of that game, it was pretty interesting to say the least, and I apologize for that another lag has been going on. It's probably because, you know, I have no idea why this has constantly been happening, but even then, I will promise you guys until the next episode and onwards that I was really hoping if my frames, or in this case my graphical glitches, does not glitch out so badly at this point in time. But even then, though, I will promise you guys it will never happen again. But anyway, so yeah, in the ending part of Knuckles' segment, it's going to be a little bit more different, because now we can actually climb on top of the tower, and we can go inside the tower. So even then, though, and as soon as we'd actually come towards the exact same boss battles as some so for Sonic and Tails version, but this time we're not going to be fighting one of them, just only two of them. So even then, though, it just makes it a little bit more trickier for you. But apart from that, though, as soon as you become Super Knuckles, especially, then this boss battle's a complete easy and just complete joke, obviously. So, but if you're actually trying to attack one, or even if you destroy one, then you have to purposely try to destroy another one. Because if you definitely need to destroy two of them, because obviously that just makes it more, you know, sense to complete the act. So there we go. That concludes Act 1. And now for Act 2 of Launch Base Zone, where things just start to get a little bit more different, is the fact that we actually go into the underground segment of Launch Base Zone, somewhat similar to how it does in the Angel Islands Act 2. So, but except that, obviously, although you're still able to go onto this little pipe tubes and stuff like that, so, anyway though, so yeah, that's all I can say about this news post department, though. Although, there's one more thing I need to point things out, is that if you guys lived in British, unfortunately, though, this might be the last day for the old £5 notes for today. It's probably because until the 2nd of May, that the old £5 note will no longer going to be required to pay it. Because after all, that every nowadays is that they actually now added in the, you know, obviously a new £5 note after all, and they're actually just trying to use it that way. But sadly, though, until you get the newer, the old £5 notes, you know what, the one with the papery material, you're no longer going to actually use that to spend on, because obviously every now and then that everyone's going to start to actually be using the newer £5 notes this time around, because obviously, you know, since we're in the modern world still, but even then, though, it's not like anything classic or anything like that. So yeah, so at this point that we have to purposely try to cope with the plastic version of the newer £5 notes. So there's one thing that I need to point things out, guys, if you want to actually be very curious about this. So even though no, I'm sure many people already will. So anywho though. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of underwater segments every nowadays, just like it does in Ice Cap Zone Act 2, but even then, there's not much else I can really think of. So anyway, so let's go ahead and spin dash all the way over there. Even then, I was really hoping about something, is that until we get to the next zone, which was the Mushroom Hill Zone Act 1, that I was really hoping, especially Act 2 as well, that I was really hoping if I want to get all of these Super Ramos on that one zone this time, because unlike Sonic and Tails run through, or in this case, Sonic's playthrough of the game, that I've seemed to actually missed out only one Super Round mod on Act 1, or in this case in one zone. Ah, darn it. Okay, I just had a jump cut right there, because I managed to grind myself a bubble shield, because even then, though, I managed to get my wrong strategy going on, so even then, that I seemed to actually explore for a little bit, and finally managed to obtain myself a bubble shield just to begin with, so how in the world did I clip for that wall over there? That's just a little bit too random. Anywho, though, so yeah, you know that I mentioned this before in the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has been recently released. I've heard from a lot of YouTubers out there will start to be doing participation for the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe tournament, which might be pretty cool to actually watch though, to say not much for that. Especially when they decide to actually do a Let's Play on that particular version, so even then. That, speaking of such though, is that the reason why I managed to try to actually get myself Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Nintendo Switch. Oh yeah, we can now actually explore the this bit right here now, so even then though, that obviously we can't actually jump higher enough to actually reach up to this little spinny platform right here, so even then, there's no use to actually get onto that, so. But nonetheless, we got a checkpoint right there. Oh, before we actually get into that, I'm just going to grind myself some rings. And still, yet again, with these little psychic ball minigames, and even then though, that we haven't got into the slot machine minigame just yet, but even then though, that we will eventually one day, but even then though, that most commonly, that, you know, between the Sonic 1 lap width special stage design and the Casino Night slot machines for Sonic 2, that those bonus stages can easily be common. The same goes for the Psychic Ball type of bonus stage here and there as well. So anyway, you're going to get rid of that froggy with this little hammer throw projectile at you, because you obviously don't want to get hit by that. And I lost my bubble shield, but that's okay, because here we on to the next boss battle, which feels exactly like how it does in Sonic and Tails version, except the fact that the electrical board will actually go like super fast this time around. So even though there's not much else anything different about it, besides, you know, the facial expressions of the Egg Robo instead of Robotnik. So, but the ending part of Act 2 of Knuckles is actually a little bit different, because you know in Sonic and Tails playthrough on that particular story, that if you defeated that particular contraption, then obviously that you actually basically finish up with Act 2. However though, if you play as Knuckles in this particular fight, you actually come across into this contraption right here, which is which this machine's known as Big Arm, which if you've ever been following through Sonic Generations 3DS Let's Play, that was usually the part of the boss battle in the classic era of Sonic Generations for the 3DS. Specifically in the final bosses in Sonic the Hedgehog 3 alone, because if you ever complete Act 2 on Launch Base Zone Act 2 for either Sonic and Tails, then you obviously will be able to be forced to actually fight against with the Big Arm, aka the final boss in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. So, yeah, that makes it more doubtful anyway, so, yeah, and why did that invincibility theme was still currently going on here? Anyway, so yeah, being how it does it for this video right here, or in this case now practically does it for this video here. So join me next time on Let's Play Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles' story. It's the fact that we're going to go ahead and explore Mushroom Hill Zone. In this case, the first stage in Sonic and Knuckles. So, yeah, what is he doing? Oh my god, it's going to explode! Jump!